Hello and welcome to the Expansion Chamber, episode 17. This is our first live episode. We are live on the YouTubes. I am joined here tonight by three very special guests. First, we got Pete of TFN 15 and Good Guys Guns and Ammo. We got
Shalom.
Brianna of Up in Arms Accessories. And we have Brett with Nightwood Guns.
He doesn't know what to do with his hands.
Maybe a dementia patient. He might know Joe Biden. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. We'll talk about the industry. We'll talk about SHOT Show because it was only me and Brett last time, so you guys did not get to share in shitting on gun companies like we did.
It would be Brett and me, actually.
Was it not? Was Brett and I incorrect?
No, you said me and Brett. Brett and me.
I like to be as grammatically incorrect as possible at all times.
Oh,
Anywho, so we're going to talk about SHOT Show, the industry, and the modern operator. So, Pete, we didn't get to talk to you about SHOT Show. What are your thoughts on SHOT Show? What were your takeaways?
Leatherman,
that was your takeaway?
Yeah, always carry a Leatherman. No,
Give me your best and worst of SHOT Show, real quick.
Dude, honestly, SHOT Show. I had a really good SHOT Show for myself personally. I made some really great connects with some really great people. My boy Matthias from Uncharted Co., for example, we had a great time. Hung with you, it was freaking awesome time doing that. But my overall impression of SHOT Show this year is that if I can sum it up in one term, I would say sideshow. And what I mean by that is everyone was doing something to get attention, but what was the thing that they were getting attention with? Was it necessarily a good thing? And the ultimate example of that, and I love Holosun, but the ultimate example of that is their thermal pistol dot. Okay. It not only is it totally unnecessary to have a pistol dot that it has thermal in it, because you're not shooting from, like, if you're hunting, right, with a thermal, you're shooting from a fixed position. There's no fixed position shooting with a pistol dot, and no caliber that you're really necessarily hunting with. I mean, yes, you can, but I'm talking about coyote hunting and things like that people do with thermals. And to boot, it takes the rail space where your flashlight would go. So I was trying to think about this, right, in the most operatory kind of way, to stick with the theme tonight. And it's like, dude, imagine an operator that doesn't have night vision and IR. And I can imagine having to have a pistol be your primary, but how are you clearing a pitch black house with a pistol dot that's got a thermal in it? You know what I mean? There's really no use for it that I can come up with, except for just saying, hey, look at that. We're dunking on all the pores. We just, put a thermal on a pistol dot. You know what I mean? Like, so that's stupid. Keltec came out with that new sub 3000 that I thought was kind of cool, that you could twist around and all that sort of stuff. I like it better than the folding Smith & Wesson backpack thing, the pistol caliber carbine. I liked that. I thought it was cool. And their 410 KS7 I thought was really cool. For like the shotgun people that don't want like a heavy blast to the shoulder with those little KS7s and stuff. That was pretty cool. Daniel Defense with the pistol. It just was like, let's see what we can do to get people to come to the booth. Speaking of booths, Glock, you gotta do better. Pathetic. Pav, when we walked up to the Glock booth, what overwhelmed, what feeling?
Depression.
It was as big as my store. Glock used to have a booth like tremendous size, right? And like now they're just shriveled down to like two little lanes, and like they had a 19X with an MOS cutout on it. They had a 26 Gen 5 MOS. They had a 49. They had a 17L. Come on, Glock. Come on. Come out with the Glock Performance Center. Make a removable FCU. You're one step away from that anyway. Do something. That was like the most pathetic display ever. And it was just like watching these poor hustlers at the booth going, hey, check it out. It's the new Glock. And you're like, oh, same as the old, So I don't know, man. Overall, my impression of SHOT Show was, it was fine. It was fine. Spiritus had cool things at their booth. I liked their booth. But I was so busy talking to them that I didn't even have time to see the stuff in person. Their new fanny sack is really cool. All their tactical kit is cool. I got to shoot some really cool guns. Oh shit, I'm gonna eat crow on this. The Walter PDP Steel, very nice shooter. I enjoyed shooting that, Brett, more than the Alien that I was with you at the booth.
Yeah. Did you shoot the Alien with the gas pedal on it though?
I
Like
did.
dude. Okay, yeah, you shot the wrong one because
Okay.
that's like the best shooting gun. It recoiled down. It was
Really?
insane. Yeah. That being said, I do want to back you up that steel frame PDP, incredible. Yep.
Wow, $1,600, well worth the money if you're just interested in comp shooting and stuff like that. So yeah, like I think they're running out of ideas, and I've actually heard some rumors in the background, like murmurs that who knows if we'll have a SHOT Show at a certain point. Like it may look like it's kind of going away or something.
Well, I feel like as someone who never been and didn't really know what to expect, it's very much a business show. Right.
Yeah.
And I think from that perspective, it's fine. But
Yeah.
it's just like CES or any of these other things. Like, there's for the consumerism for people to go and check out the stuff if they can get in, or really for media to make videos like Brett did. And then there's just for people who are in the industry to go there and do business and stuff. But I think SHOT Show just needs to move. I think while Vegas is cool, I think there's probably better places that have a Vegas vibe, but
Like where?
aren't, like Florida, Texas, somewhere. I feel like a state that more embodies the 2A culture, because especially when you're literally hosting it in one of the most anti-gun casinos. I mean, most casinos are anti-gun in Vegas, but it's.
But
like,
you see, also like at SHOT, how often did you gamble?
Never.
How many strip clubs did you go to?
0.
How much did you drink?
I drank not a lot, but I had like a beer or two with dinner or something like that.
Because this is why everybody goes to SHOT.
Huh.
So it's an excuse to let loose, which is why it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's why those 40-year-old, 45-year-old, 55-year-old, 60-year-old guys leaving their wives for a week at the Glock booth over there.
Oh yeah, no, like literally seeing dudes wearing like dressing like us, right? It's like wearing like a Leupold shirt or like a Glock hat, like with an escort on the strip, and you're like, oh
yeah,
yeah, pretty gnarly.
It was
that man has VD.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like just. Like everyone wants to see the new thing from SHOT. So everyone's always excited. What's new? What's new? What's new? Let's face it. The industry can't keep up with what's new. Like, meaning you can't keep putting out a new thing every year. It's not going to be high quality. If you keep putting a new thing and a new thing and a new thing out, you just can't be expected year over year to do that. So it used to be back when I started going to SHOT, probably like 2018 or so, it used to be like, every other year is the better year at SHOT because they got the time to catch up to themselves. Whoever L3 came out with the new Wizzity Woo, and so came out with another, like whatever it is, right? But year over year, it's like when a company goes public, right? They're expected to consistently every quarter stack. That's an unsustainable approach to doing business. So it's an also unsustainable expectation from my customers at the gun store. Like, oh, what's new from SHOT? Like, it's the same shit. Okay, here's this PDP Steel. You want it? $1,600. No. Okay. Here's this fucking Alien gun. It's $6,000. It's got a gas pedal though. You want it? No. Okay. Here's and then like that's it. Yeah. Like, what do you want? Like the gun to do the thing for you. Like and
Basically.
And but at the same time, they just want. What I've noticed about customers is they just want to see the new. They don't want to spend the money on the new. They just want to be around it, touch it. Ooh, it's the new thing. Most people don't want to spend the money. Most people don't give a shit. They're just like
it's so expensive too. Like you, especially a new SIG, like those are always like way above MSRP at launch, and you have to kind of like fight for it, and then you can get it for like $100 under MSRP later. Brianna, you've been kind of just sitting there quietly.
She's fuming. She's really upset. I can tell.
You didn't go to SHOT Show this year. Have you been before?
I haven't.
What is your take then as an outsider, right? We're all insiders. I don't know what we're inside of, but that's another discussion. But Brianna, what is your take on SHOT Show as someone viewing it from the outside, just hearing it from us and seeing videos online, stuff like that?
So obviously I just moved. You guys know that, but back where I moved from, I spoke to the people that ran that range, and kind of why they went to SHOT Show was, like you said, mostly for business, talking to the vendors, if you will, in that capacity. Like, hey, you know, what do you guys got? What can you get me? Like looking to bring in things that weren't necessarily new to the market, but more new to their store and what they could offer to their customers. Moving here, I actually just recently started trying to go to a new range and kind of make some connections there for my business. And also, so I had somewhere I was comfortable, you know, going to shoot indoors, which is already not my favorite activity. But I asked them there, I'm like, hey, do you guys send anybody to SHOT Show? Like, are you excited for it? And their kind of attitude was like, we used to, but we don't anymore because we have our reps for the brands that we carry, and anything that we need from them, you know, we already communicate that to the reps. So I can kind of see both sides. It's like, you know, you can make new connections with different people with different brands and figure out like, hey, can you get me a better deal than the guy that I'm working with? Or can you get me something that this person's not been able to get me? Whereas on the other side, like, yeah, you already have the people you work with. If you trust, you know, your vendors and your sales reps with your companies, then there's really no point unless, to Brett's point, like you go to party, which to be fair, like I'm going to Vegas this month now for my full-time job. They're having a convention there. We're participating in one, and I'm not fully going for the convention. I'm mostly going to hang out, have a good time, enjoy Vegas. I've been there a few times, so I definitely know what it's about, and I won't be walking down the street with any escorts, but
But you might go to Chippendales one night. You might have to.
I might have to. But yeah, so I mean, I see it from both sides. As just a consumer, somebody, well, I mean, even in my business capacity, I don't know how that would necessarily benefit me at this point where I'm at. From like a business standpoint, I could be missing that. But as a consumer, I think it would be cool to experience, but I wouldn't be going into it thinking that like my mind's going to get blown with some out of this world like technology. And if it was, I certainly wouldn't be able to afford it.
Well, something I think, and tying into our subject, is, you know, like we saw Tulam at SHOT Show, and like apparently GBRS Group was there. I didn't even whatever. But
Slade was there too.
So, and then you have, who's that Staccato? There was some Christian Craighead. Was that?
Oh yeah,
right?
Craighead. Yeah.
But
he's great though.
He is a great guy. Enjoy watching him on podcasts and stuff. But
yeah,
I think, you know, the interest is now more in people who they're not like Grand Thumb. Everyone loves Grand Thumb, but he's not.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was in the military, but that's not like his thing, right? Like his thing is more, he's his own thing beyond that. Or like John Lovell. Me and Pete got to meet John Lovell, very based. But no one, I don't think anyone really cares about John Lovell because he's an Army Ranger, but it's because who he is now.
Yeah,
right?
I was. By the
Preparedness and
way,
stuff like that.
I just want to say it was really fun telling him the story I got to tell him, which was that my kids read his book and then wrote a book report on it and said that they needed to be the most dangerous man in the room, and they're 11. So that's hella base. So thank you, John Lovell. Love you, bro. That guy is awesome. What he's doing.
He is very cool. But I think people now, like if you look at SIG's new, here we go. If you look at SIG's new ad for their new rifle or whatever, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Not military
Well, it's just an
operators.
updated
It's like,
version of it.
yeah, I don't care about the rifle. The rifle's dumb.
I was gonna say, I have an OG right here. I got you.
It's literally just an AR. No one cares. But their
Right.
ad is all about Minutemen, right?
Yeah.
And then like the modern Minuteman. Maybe that'd be a better name for this episode, but too late now. Anyways, that's what it's about. It's not about, you know, there's no Navy SEALs or like whatever in this whole video. Right?
Yeah, don't
Modern
worry.
Minuteman.
It's just a sheepdog. That is the sheepdog stance, not cringe at all. Just standing on his front.
Look,
Yo,
I
get
didn't
up,
say it
fella.
wasn't cringe. I didn't say SIG's. I'm not here to worship SIG.
Definitely not pandering at all.
Definitely not. But it's interesting who they're pandering to, right? Because
You
5
could
years
smell
ago,
it in the air though. That's
that
why.
would have been a Navy SEAL looking dude wearing all multicam, right? Looking like an operator. Now it's some dude in jeans and a t-shirt and a jacket, like probably some 511 jacket or whatever. So, you know, still cringe, but
Yeah.
excuse me.
Excuse me. Oh,
Hey, be careful who you're hating to, because I love this thing.
Well, they should have put you in the ad.
it's not cringe to have your AR, like, you know, just
No, I
you
I
know,
get it.
chilling with you.
Yeah, but it's interesting that is their marketing, right? Because we have not seen that. Like you kind of saw like the PDP, you saw that of like, but it's self-defense, right? But they also had some law enforcement stuff in their marketing. But it's interesting that whole rifle, SIG, I mean, SIG's a massive company, right? Love them or hate them, they're a massive part of the industry. They're so massive. They have their own event and don't show up to SHOT Show.
Yeah, they don't show
right?
up to SHOT Show.
So that's how big they are, right? They're like, we can have our own thing, right? And they can. They're massive. Good or bad, they're massive.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that, hey, that's their advertising. We're advertising to the modern Minuteman, the modern operator. It's not just a
Navy SEALs cool guy thing.
I hear about. Yeah, it's not just that. So
well, and here's where I want to give SIG credit where credit is due. With all of the drama and crap about extremists, right, where it's only racists and extremists that own AR-15s and own guns.
Yeah.
They don't care, and they're still, pandering to, people like us who are just everyday people who want to be armed, because like there are a lot of companies that don't want to touch that. They want to remain drama free, but SIG is embracing it. So kudos.
So military
and
or law
on a local level too,
enforcement,
Brett, like I being from New York, owning a gun shop in New York, right? Like, dude, it's like
Behind
a
enemy
lot of behind enemy lines. A lot of the gun shops here won't even touch like ARs, or they only sell them with we have that stupid SAFE Act, which is being challenged and probably will go away soon. But what I like, so for example, if you want to buy an AR right now in New York, it has to go on what's called a semi-auto rifle permit, which is as hard to get as a pistol permit in New York. It's insane. And then so everyone has to do these workarounds too. If your rifle is semi-automatic, it can't have these features and blah, 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 right? You can't have a muzzle brake. You can't have a pistol grip. You can't have telescoping stock. You have to lock a 10-round mag in and then use this weird thing to feed the 10 rounds in through the breech. It's so lame. Okay. So I have gotten on the thing where I'm selling the Cali key to everybody now, which is it converts your AR into a bolt action rifle. It's a gas keyless bolt carrier group. Okay. So the rifle won't cycle. So now you don't put the benefits are you don't have to, you can buy it today. You don't have to put it on a permit, your gun. You can have an unlocked magazine. You can have all the features because the rifle is bolt action, not semi-automatic. And now when you leave the state to train, right, all you have to do is bolt carrier group swap, borrow a bolt carrier group from a friend, okay, and then do a bolt carrier group swap. And now you're not drilling parts out and doing this and then re-drilling parts back to like before you come back home. That's how crazy it is over here, right? Because if you go to the range here with a real AR, like an untamed AR, and you're not a cop, it's not going to go well for you.
They'll call the cops on you.
Yeah, someone might. Someone might be a pig.
Really quick, we said we look at comments. We got a comment here. Daniel Platt just picked up a CZ-P07 last Friday, going to the range tomorrow. Can't wait for CZ pistol. That was actually my first handgun I ever got, was a CZ-P07. I since have moved on to Glocks, but that was my first gun, and I shot the P07, the P09 a lot. I actually took it to my first class, so definitely a solid platform if you want a polymer double action, single action pistol. Anyone else have any thoughts on the CZ-P07?
First of all, hi Daniel. Recognize you in the comments. No, seriously, cool guy.
Damn, Daniel.
Good job with the P07. That's super dope. Highly recommend. So good choice. I'm excited for you.
And when you are ready to take it up a notch, Cajun Gunworks does some really good stuff. I don't know if Brett, if you're more gun nerd than me.
Yeah, I mean, Cajun Gunworks is kind of like the easy one. CZ Custom is also good, but honestly, that P07, solid the way it is.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is I don't think they come optics cut, so
yeah.
But you can still learn with irons.
People have been clapping people with irons for.
People have been clapping people with no sights, right? You go back to like Revolutionary War; they had no sights on the guns.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying about the SIG ad. They can smell it in the air. That's what marketing is about, right? And they know what everyone is talking about, especially in the gun community. And everyone in the gun community is talking about civil unrest. They're talking about troubles at the border. They're talking about civil war, especially with all the stuff that went on between Biden's feds and the Border Patrol and the Texas Rangers and whatnot down at the border there. So They could smell it in the air on the SIG side of things, but that's because people are talking about it on our side of things. And the prepared civilian has been something that we've been talking about, especially me and you, Pat, for a very long time. It's not like this is a new concept to either of us. But somehow or another, in the last couple of years, everyone has sort of realized no one is coming. It's up to us. That 30 seconds out thing. I had that in my store and I have it on the wall behind me here. No one is coming. It's up to us, man. Like they realized after the lawlessness, and especially in places like my shithole state and shithole city, you're getting migrants beating the shit out of cops in the middle of Times Square the other day. No one does nothing. They get out, they flee the state, they're going back to wherever, or they're going to Florida and they're hiding out. A couple of them, I think, were found in Arizona, actually.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So they, listen, expect this for quite some time, and it is going
it's
to
not
get
going to
funky.
stop until we stop accepting it.
That's right. Yeah, and the only way to say I will not relent to these people, and I will not let these people take over my life, is to be willing to defend yourself, and the only way to defend yourself properly is with a firearm. Absolutely.
You have to protect the people that are enforcing your anti-gun laws from the illegal immigrants.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Really quick as well. Just another comment from Daniel. So I want to. He said he bought a spring kit from Macarbo and is going to polish the internals. So Brett, I am not that much of a nerd. Do you know Macarbo?
Oh yeah, Macarbo. Yeah, they also make great stuff. I put a whole kit in my CZ Scorpion, and it's like the best action and trigger kit that you can get. And they make really great stuff, and way more affordable than Cajun, way more affordable than CZ
awesome.
Custom.
I've not been in the CZ
stuff.
game for 5 years. So
yep. So good job, Daniel. You know your stuff.
Damn, Daniel.
No, I think it's interesting, right? To see. It's encouraging to see companies market that way.
Yeah.
And things, like Lucas of TRX Arms, I think is the best example of that. Love him or hate him, right? Very controversial, but he is the embodiment, I think, of the modern Minuteman.
Absolutely,
right?
Man. He's been talking about it
with
way
what
longer
he sells,
than anyone.
with the way they market, their brand, everything.
Yep.
TRX Arms represents that, especially Lucas. And there's great other people out there who are civilians. I think more and more we're seeing people who are just citizens, and they're not, oh, I was a Navy SEAL Ranger Delta Force Extreme operator, man. It was just, I shoot guns and I've gotten good at it.
Yeah.
And that, I think the more of that we see, right? Like Brett, that's exactly what Brett is. He's just someone who shoots guns and is very good at it.
As far as anybody knows.
I just sold my first set of PVS 31 Alphas to a guy from my store. So, amongst all the stuff that I'm selling at my store, besides guns and ammo, which everyone wants and gets, what else can you have? I have Mountain House meals. I have storable food. I have tourniquets. Like, where do you see like cat TQs on the wall? I have non-lethal options. I have less lethal options. I have night vision. My dealer for night vision, you guys, is Licentia Arms. So call me up, because Licentia makes some of the dopest stuff. They have a clean room. They're one of the only authorized L3 dealers, and not dealers,
distributors,
people who can work on L3 products in the country, because they have this clean room. And they're an amazing company to work with. And my boy is getting 2,800 FOM freaking white phosphor night vision, which is out of control, high spec stuff. You guys, like that would have been reserved for your special operator, Navy SEAL, GBRS group type guys and stuff like that prior. So I'm talking civilians are out there with 31 Alphas that are 2,800 FOM white phos. That is insane. That's how far the level has gone right now. And this kid's spending 13.7 on a fucking set of night vision, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm happy to accommodate, because I can speak the language. I understand what it does. I personally have spent more time under night vision than like your average pogue in the military has, for sure. Not more than the operators have, but I'll do nights under night vision, like plenty of them. So I am so used to running them. I'm so used to working with them. I'm so used to everything. I'm a civilian. I've never had any kind of military anything or service background whatsoever. What business do I have using that stuff, right? Well, in my mind, I feel like it might.
It's your business. That's all that matters.
I'm just saying it might be useful. And SIG for sure sees me out there, and they want to sell me their their rifle platform apparently from that commercial, and their guns that'll explode on my dick and shoot my balls off. That I won't try, but I wouldn't mind having one of their rifles.
And that's the thing, and like, you know, I've yet to have the opportunity to visit your store, but just seeing, you know, everything you post and what you sell, you're ahead of most gun stores though. Like most gun stores are still behind the times. And normally I notice that online it normally is ahead of in store for almost everything these days. But especially in the gun industry, in stores is always so much more behind. You know, they're still selling Springfield XDs. I mean, actually, that's one of the highest selling guns in the country, but that's because of California.
Interesting.
But anyways, I feel like your store is definitely ahead of the curve from what I see from the local stores around me. Even the very cool stores that, you know, they'll be playing TRX Arms on the TV in their store for like tutorial stuff, but you know they're still, you know, their accessories are very limited. You know, they're selling Blackhawk holsters or, you know, like
won't do it. You know why
they
do that, by the way, guys? There's 3 holsters, right? Blackhawk, DeSantis, and Galco. Okay. Any sawdust on the floor freaking gun store in America sells them. You want to know why? Because our distributors are the ones that carry that. So they're not going outside the lines. Okay. They're going through the distributors. I've been able to manage to lock down a guy who it makes great custom holsters, and he's going to do it for the shop. Meaning, a guy will come in and say, "Hey, you know, I'll have a display with all his different holsters up, swatches of Kydex, swatches of Cordura wraps, the clips, everything, whatever the guy wants, right?" And he'll come in and go, "Oh wow, I can get a holster for my 19 with the thing and the thing and the Coptic cut and blah blah blah." Yeah, for sure. How you carrying? Oh, cool. Appendix, great. We can do this for you or that for you, and then we'll take a little sheet, fill it out, and then I'll put the order in with my boy. He'll cut it, and we'll have it within 2 weeks directly for the customer. The customer gets to feel it, touch it, see it, as opposed to, you know, having to wait for it to come, and then you have
buying some Galco DeSantis Blackhawk holster.
And I tell everyone, "Oh wow, that's really interesting. You want a Galco holster? Do you like to die today? Was that what you want to do?" And they're like, "What? I don't understand." I'm like, you know, the holsters that fold in on the trigger guard when you have one chambered might fold in when you're carrying and bending over and doing stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like,
So
maybe
Brett looks like he wants to say something.
Yeah, maybe if you wear it for like, you know, 8 years and sweat all over it. But I mean, the thing is, there is nothing wrong with a leather holster as long as you maintain it and swap it out when it needs to be swapped out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, and with Kydex, it can crack. So just like anything,
Absolutely, I've broken multiple sidecars. And
yeah.
holsters.
So
Sure.
it is what it. That being said, I do think that Kydex makes the most sense for anybody who's entering the space for the first time.
Customizable holsters to me is the wave, right? So no gun store, no matter what your depth is going to be able to have every combination of Glock 19 out there. This guy's got the X300. This one has the TLR 7A. This one has no light. This one has optic no light. You know, an optic, and it's just too much. So being able to team up with a Kydex holster maker for me was the best option. And by the way, I do rock with one leather holster that I am really, 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 really in love with, and that's the SOB Tactical condom holster. It's literally like a condom, but super stiff. Doesn't even like, you can't even like, you know what I mean? You can't even like smush it. You know, that's my church holster right there. You know, like when I want to be really super discreet and comfortable, and I'm doing like a standing and moving and whatever, and you know, all that stuff in church.
So, you know, I think the other thing is mainly my issue with all those holsters. They're rarely you get light bearing, right?
Right.
And you know, sometimes they're not optics cut, and it's just, and I just use that as an example because it's just the bottom of the barrel gear that a first time gun buyer buys, and they eventually, like we all did this. We all started with some lower end holster that didn't conceal very well, didn't have that good retention. You know, it had its issues. Quality wasn't that great. And then eventually we went out and ended up buying, you know, like Tenacore or TRX Arms or Priority One or whatever later on, right? But it's nice if a store right off the bat, you know, I'm not buying some Uncle Mike's belt, which to be fair, I have like an Uncle Mike's belt that when I first started carrying, it still works. It's big and bulky and annoying. But what I like is you have good belts, good holsters, good gear.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to see from most gun stores is
I carry
actually,
Core. because I think they're like the most economical. They make the most sense, and like they really do a good job of carrying the weight of the gun all day long. I mean, I have a gun on me all day long for 12 hours a day, so it's like, you know, this. I have a core belt right now, and you know, I was like, I've been using this thing for years. I might as well get them to be a dealer for the store, and it's really great because customers come into the store, they see that, they touch and they feel the belt, and they're like, oh wow, this is what I've been seeing online. That's the difference. Like you can't experience that online.
You can't try it.
You can't try it. You can't like touch it. Sometimes some people are also that kind of a shopper as well. But yeah, so the guns and the ammo, that's all meat and potatoes, transfers, all that shit. I don't care if I'm like the number one transferer on Long Island here, but
not yet. Just wait.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of years of transferring.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's gonna be bringing all the guns into New York.
So really quick, another comment I'll bring up from Daniel and Brett. Why don't you? Do you see it when I put the comment up, Brett?
When you think, it pops
Brett,
up.
why don't you read this one?
They say a non-limp wristing Glock 49 for Brett.
Brett's wife.
Is way oversprung. You can see it in the video. Yes, you can. So yeah, in my SHOT Show coverage, the Glock 49 was malfunctioning in my wife's hands because Steiner optic on there with the G19 recoil spring assembly on the G17 slide with probably 115 grain ammo they were shooting. It was oversprung for that weight combination, and it was within it didn't take much to cause a malfunction. If you weren't death gripping it with everything you had, it would choke. So yeah, I guess that is a good question. Do you sell a G49 that will not limp wrist malfunction with a Steiner on it in a woman's hands?
Man, I will sell you a pink G49 with an Acro P2. You know, I don't give a shit. I'll sell it all. Yes, I sell it. It will not limp wrist, I promise.
Really quick, just to, like I said, I want to honor the comments in our live. Uses a Nex belt. As far as I know, they're very similar to core belts.
Yeah, they're good.
Very solid option. That ratcheting.
Daniel Platt, I have a question for you. Since you're watching a show about the modern operator not being as valid and then more of the citizen being more valid, I want to keep it on topic. So what do you think of the topic at hand, which is not the Nex belt nor Brett's wife's limp wristing? It is whether or not you think the modern operator is valid in the gun space in terms of where companies are marketing to these days. I mean, listen, I think they're going to milk that stone for, they're going to squeeze the water from that stone for a long time, guys. Like, every time, you know what I mean? Every time you see like any kind of ad, whatever, Surefire or whatever, right? Like it's just some guys.
We have our Navy SEAL operator, Special Forces, Delta Ranger.
I think SIG is setting the trend. And because they're certainly not the only ones, but you see how Staccato does its marketing. It uniquely caters to a civilian market, but mostly law enforcement. Yep. That being said, they're setting a trend, and I think it's because we now have a separation of gear and tactics, right? And it used to be like, I want the gear that the cops are using, I want the gear that the military is using, and now people are realizing that the gear that are made for like civilians, the civilian gear is better, is nicer, is higher end. So I think
spec means finally.
Yeah. That being said,
lowest bidder.
That being said, like I said, separation from gear and tactics, and somebody with military experience can teach you tactics that are critically important.
Oh yeah.
When the shit hits the fan, a police officer can teach you certain tactics that they, use in their day-to-day job. That being said, what neither military or law enforcement is guaranteed to be good at is shooting firearms, specifically handguns, because in the civilian market, most of us are every day carrying a pistol, and not a lot of time is spent on pistols in the military unless you are in some sort of special unit where you are specializing. You have a need to use a handgun frequently, and it's not just guys kind of passing along the knowledge they've gathered over the years. It's like, yeah, no, if you hold it like this and do that, they just teach you how to operate it, but not how to shoot it at a really high performance level. But the tactics, on the other hand, they spent years learning how to implement these tactics. And when the shit hits the fan and you need to organize people, it's good to have that knowledge. But I think that's why SIG is marketing the gear in the civilian area, because we finally, I should say that people who are worth a damn have realized that.
Wow. Did Pav leave? He's left his own show. I agree, man. I agree. I think that there's still like so much to learn. I will say one thing about military tactics, that obviously not all of that stuff will apply to us. I mean, small unit stuff, small unit tactics, that's key for us. That right
Yeah.
there, that's the shit. But never forget, we don't have the support that all these different units, you know, on a larger scale have. Like we don't have ISR with thermal, and we don't have, like, you can't call in a gunship, and you can't do this and you can't do that. However, I think we've learned so much. Those of us who have been doing this stuff like in the airsoft capacity for so many years have like said, well, how can we have that? Right. So like we've wound up adapting so many things that we're now seeing in war, in particular in the Ukraine. For example, I learned from Ed Calderon that cartels a while back were using drones that were weaponized, right? So they use these little things that can like carry like a fish hook out, like, you know, so you're not casting like, you know, whatever, how many yards out anymore. You just take the drone to cast your line, and you can drop ordnance. Like cartels have been doing this for quite some time. So we were like, okay, so how do we take that and we go to these large ops, these airsoft, you know, training events that we do, and we now have a drone that's weaponized. So not only can I see what's going on, I can drop ordnance on OPFOR from the sky. And we're seeing that play out over and over again in Ukraine in the trenches right now. So I think that's why you're now actually seeing this push militarily, governmentally, to stop militias and stuff like that from forming. They're trying to curtail the amount of training that people can do and the gathering that people do. And I'm just I'm a lowly airsoft player. What would I know about tactics? But for those people who are in militias and stuff out there, who are doing the work, and who are like, a lot of them are lining up on the border right now to defend our borders because the federal government refuses to do so. They're trying to curtail that. And that should tell everybody, if they're trying to stop you from doing something, then that's exactly where things are going and what people should be doing. As a matter of fact, you know, people should be communicating with their neighbors, going out on a training day, shooting, having alternative backup methods of communication. Maybe everyone has Baofangs radios. Maybe someone has digital radios.
So the Chinese can listen to us.
Whatever. All I'm saying is that it's out there for the taking. Most people don't know what the barrier to entry is to most of this stuff. It's very, very low. And as you go down the rabbit hole, you know, and you group up with friends and you learn with friends, it's just the greatest thing in the world to know that you have some sense of what you can do and how you can lead and how you can organize if a really bad situation hit us, like an EMP or a grid down or this or that, whatever it is, right? All these movies, right? Like the Obama film that came out on Netflix, right? That one he produced, right? The Last Day of the World or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But Civil War, the guy with the glasses, right? What kind of American are you?
Well, then there's that Civil War movie coming out that honestly looks like it may not be terrible. So I don't know. But yeah. Brianna, you've been quiet. You've been kind of overpowered by us strong alpha males. So what is your take on all this?
She's like, fuck you, dude.
No comment on that one. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, there was kind of a lot said there, and I'll kind of coming into it. It's like, it's really hard because, especially being, you know, this modern operator, that you're now coming into a range. You're like, okay, cool. I'm going to buy a gun. I'm going to start training. What do I do now? All right. You mentioned first aid. You mentioned a certain type of tourniquet, which is a very, very popular one that a lot of people use. It's been one that's been suggested to me. I never bought one. I just recently re-upped my, you know, first aid, bloodborne pathogen training, and they actually suggested a tourniquet, which I popped out here, and it's one that's local to me, super handy. What did they call it? TacMed Solutions. So it's a different option. I haven't seen the cap ones, honestly, but I really liked this one. It separates. But just the different options that you guys have versus, you know, everyone's going to suggest something. If you go into one range, they're going to carry a particular brand of belt. They're going to carry a particular brand of body armor. They're going to carry a particular brand of holster. And that's what everybody there is going to be trying to sell you. And I ran into that a lot. And like you mentioned, people want to go and they want to touch things. They want to see how it feels on them. I have bought so much gear online that I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
Because you can't go and try it on. You mentioned T-Rex arms. I bought a in the waistband holster by T-Rex arms, the Ragnarok with the sidecar. I bought it for my 320. I absolutely hate it. Unless I'm wearing a sweater, it's the middle of winter, I cannot conceal that pistol in that. Maybe if I take the sidecar off, you have a better shot. It's still not comfortable.
But that you're also trying to conceal a larger pistol, right? Like what is it? The 320 full size X carry or compact?
I mean, even then, it's not that hard
full
to conceal
size.
a full size gun.
Yeah, I mean, I could with a different holster. So even with my carry gun that is not my predominant carry gun for that exact reason. I am a smaller framed person. I do realize that. I carry a 365 predominantly. But even for me, most people will tell you, okay, you carry appendix, you're going to carry on your strong hand side. Even for me with my 365, that doesn't work. Like I have to cross carry. So it's like, you need to talk to people that are kind of open-minded and understand that there's multiple ways to do things.
For sure.
And offer different solutions. It's like different slings for your rifle. It's like, just because you carry, I think, is it Blue Alpha Gear is a really popular sling brand that Ranges carry.
You might probably think of Blue Force gear. Blue Alpha gear also makes, I believe, a sling, but their belts as well. Their big thing.
Okay, so Blue Force. So I mean, it's just you can't go based on what a range or a gun store carries because there's plenty of options. I came across one and now I can't remember the name, but another. As much as I don't like to either go off of like influencers too. Because you kind of get into the same trap of like, oh, I really like this influencer. They're using this. It obviously is the way to go. But I did come across this other, belt brand recently that this influencer was using. And all I could think about was that looks so comfortable.
What belt?
Because the comp belt, I don't remember the brand. I'll come back with that at some point. I'll either send it to you to post or look at. But the brand that I bought, there's no padding on it. It's just like choking my hips. Which
like a concealed carry belt or like an outside the waistband belt?
Outside the waistband, like a comp belt, like if you're just going to the range. My concealed carry belt, I honestly really like the Groove Life. So it's not really concealed carry per se, but they do kind of.
I know people that use it and they kind of market it for that too.
Yeah, they dip their toe into it, but they haven't like fully committed. But I really like it. Like it's comfortable.
It works, especially for smaller guns. Bigger guns, it doesn't because it's just all elastic. If you're running a smaller, lighter package, it can work. Like I just got this a little bit ago, and I'll be doing a review of the Agonic EDB belt.
Ooh.
Is that for your smaller, lighter package?
Yes.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah.
No,
I saw the look on your face. I wasn't going to let it go.
no, I have a very big package, which is why I need this belt.
Oh my God.
But anyways,
that's
weird
weird.
right here. Anyways,
I mean, yeah. So as it pertains, though, right? Like all this gear, all this gun, I think things move in stages for a reason. We discovered the operator. And all the stuff these guys are doing, let's face it, they're fucking cool, like way cooler than us. Look at the stuff that Gold Team, that's like GBRS group, like Shipley, and before he left, Slade, they were on Gold Squadron. They had done like some of the craziest stuff ever in DevGru and all that stuff. Those stories are awesome. Those guys are freaking cool. And that got people thinking like, oh, wow, I want some of that cool guy gear. I just want to have it, And then they were like, well, they heard guys go like, well, you can't just have it. You got to learn how to use it. And then they're like, all right, I'm going to get training. And then they go and they get training, right? And then then they start realizing stuff that these guys said all these years. For example, mission set. What's your mission set, right? Like, what are you doing on a daily basis, right? For me and you guys, all of us, we're going to be carrying a pistol. We're going to be putting it in our pants and walking around town with it, and just hoping that we don't have to ever use it.
Big or small package,
Yeah, teeny tiny needle package that I carry around all day. But you know what I'm saying? So like we've now evolved to this point of mission set, and most people realized, like, I don't need all the shit that the operator has. If anything, I need a plate carrier with some plates in case shit really gets funky. Let's just say there's no rule of law. So now we have to form in like a neighborhood watch or something, and we're all like gardening our own block. Everyone needs some kind of protection. Well, I want plates for that. Maybe I'll have my drone giving me a little bit of, ISR, like a eye in the sky.
I think as well, people thought too much about gear. I'm put another comment from Daniel Platt. I think he's kind of responded to your question. So James Yeager, which actually was my first ever shooting course. Love him or hate him. Rip James Yeager. He definitely he made some dumb points, but he made some great ones as well. And like you said, mindset, tactics, skill, gear. I don't know if I'd go exactly in that order, but mostly yes. Right, that's the thing. Gear's at the bottom, right? I would much rather be a really, really good shooter and have a Canik or I don't know, some like a Stoeger or whatever, Steiger. I don't know what Stoeger's the cheap Glock.
Stoeger, yeah,
a Stoeger. Then have a Gucci 1911, but I can't shoot at all. Right?
Yeah.
Gear, because that's the other thing as well is people think, oh, the Lago Arms Alien, you just shoots itself. If you're shooting a stationary target that doesn't move, you don't move, and it's the exact same point over and over again, you could probably burn it down and get a grouping like this.
Yeah.
But if you have to shoot a different point of aim, or if you have to shoot a different target, you have to move. Like movement is where people show their ability of skill or not, is in movement. And I don't just mean walking; I mean moving the gun, like reloading, drawing, all those movement. And that's the real thing. And I think people get so focused on, oh, I need this holster, I need this optic, or I need this, that. It doesn't matter that much. I think concealed carry, it's a little bit. You want a standard, right? I want to have a holster. It fully closes the trigger guard. It retains the pistol, all that stuff. Like there's a standard, but then there's like this insane, like, oh, I need to have this and that, and it needs to be multicam, and it's like it doesn't matter, right? Something that's comfortable, works, does the job, and holds up in a realistic situation, right? I don't need something I can jump out of a plane with, but if I tussle someone on the ground, I don't want my belt coming apart.
Yep.
So I think it's this overthinking on things, and like I said, James Yeager, one other thing you talk about, a gun's a gun, grip sight's trigger, right? Or some variation of that.
Yeah.
And that's true, right? Like this Glock, I don't know where the Canik, this Canik, they're all guns. They have grip sights trigger, right? There's nothing else that's really going on here. You can have all the fancy stuff like the Lago Arms Alien, the new revamped H9 from Daniel, but it's a gun at the end of the day. And if you can't shoot, doesn't matter what other fancy bullshit you have.
Well, for sure, I like that he said that mindset comes first because, I used to have to, during like when things got a little hard for me, I had to fill ATMs at one point in my life because it was a job that came up and I did it and it was fine. And I would be in the hood in some of the worst areas in New York with $30,000 of cash in a Haley bag in my chest, on my chest like this. No gun, wasn't allowed to carry. So what did I have to rely on? I mean, I did bring like a puncher or like a stabber, any kind of a blade. And I did have poker. And I did, before it was illegal, I did have like some armor in the bag in case someone shot me at least in the chest, right? So I was like, okay, I was covered for that. But what really I tuned into was my mindset, meaning like actually that job really developed my awareness. So for example, if I was delivering to, there was this one spot, it was like a nail salon. I had a couple nail salons in this one really bad area, Southside Jamaica, Queens. And, if I saw anybody hanging around in front of the deli, the bodega right next to the nail salon, I wouldn't deliver money that day. But I would get there at 9 a.m. Instead, the timing of my day changed. So I got there at 9 a.m. instead of 2 p.m. and there was nobody there. The hood is quiet at 9 a.m. So you pop in there and you just dump your cash. You put your back against the wall so that you're watching the door as you're dumping $10,000 into the cassette of 20s. You know what I mean? You're dumping 10,000. It's just a mindset, right? How you park your vehicle. Like, do I park it right in front of the door if I can, of course. But where do I have to go around a parked car? No, I maybe have to move so that the door opens right between these two parked cars right here. You know what I mean? So things like that, like, observant. I'm leaving, but I'm in the store. I'm in the general safety of the inside of the store right now. So I'm going to look. I'm going to see who's outside, who's waiting for me. Is anyone watching me? I'm watching my rear views. Who's following me? That's a mindset that I actually had to develop without any weapons. And I only ever had two little issues, but they were kind of like, it was light work. I just handled it by using like a dominant posture, and that was it. But man, I'll tell you what, man, that was a blessing, that job, because it really developed my mindset. Now, like when I close up my store, I go right into ATM mode. I'm looking. Is someone waiting by my car? Is someone waiting outside? Who is that guy? I got that Nitecore 3000 lumen lamp that you showed me, Brett, Pav, and it was, it's been a super help. Like if I'm not so sure something's dark, I blast a freaking 3000 lumen light at it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you can have the Gucciest guns, the best guns. If your head's up your ass, you're still going to get smoked.
You're going to get smoked.
I want to hit some comments. This is from Bendetto. Only thing I can think of, the Halcyon Thermal is for detecting breaking photonic barriers without using the XG100T. No. I can kind of see it, but I think it's simply showing what can be done.
Yeah.
Because it is a very small package for what it can accomplish. And I think if you need that,
it's not the size of the thermal, it's the motion of the oh, never mind.
The user pointing the thermal.
It is a small package with a massive load.
Yeah, big hot load. I disagree. In the days of in the days of fusion units or Jerry units, clip-on thermal right now that you can clip onto your night vision, it absolutely serves no purpose to have that, because you're not stationary with it. You're not scanning with
that's the thing. And you don't want to get sucked into your optic. Like when people clear buildings, they'll clear buildings like this, and you really want to have your gun down. Like you don't want to be clearing through the optic. Like that's a huge thing when I do teach people building clearing and stuff, is don't look through your sights, keep your sights out of the way. But I think it has some benefit. I think it is very niche. Honestly, it seems like something you'd see like an assassin use essentially.
I was going to say almost like an ambush or counter ambush. Like you're setting, like you post up in your bedroom, someone broke into your house and you're pointing it down the hallway. You're not giving
you just see a sliver,
you light up whatever silhouette pops up. Then
God, it's not something that you shouldn't be shooting. No, so I think like I said, I think there are some benefits. There are some good things, but at the end of the day, I think it's more of a, hey, we can do this, so take a look. Then
I think it's conceptual, right? I think it's really cool. It's almost like a peek at the future of what a like very cyberpunk optic could look like.
Yes.
Let's say, like, seriously, like imagine there's no display and you hit something on the grip and this thermal image comes up above the gun, and then you can turn it off. Like that would be really cool. I view it as a peek into the future. It's a conceptual phase of the
what
technology.
We can do, not what we're going to do.
Pav, can we tell them the little HoloSun secret that we learned while we were at the show? We won't say who told us. So let's just say we have it on good authority.
We did hear potentially a little birdie, and to be fair, I think Brett and I talked about this in the last one about how HoloSun supposedly might be going local, like to the US for manufacturing, but they've been saying that for like 5 years at this point.
I heard that five years ago from a little birdie that was very reliable, and here we are 5 years later and they're still saying it. So
producing in the United States would be a big win.
Some more comments here.
Stoker is Beretta, we know. Yep.
Here we go from Corey Tando. Nice. So familiar with me and Brett. But first time seeing these two. Well, this is Pete
on the bottom
with Good Guys, Guns and Ammo.
Are you talking about me and Brianna, or just Brianna's two on the bottom? I had to go there. I had to absolutely.
All right, next comment.
She turned me right. I love it.
I do believe you have to have some gear first. Yeah, and I agree. I think honestly, my recommendation for people has changed. I used to be like, get a Glock 19, get a TRX Arms, like just get, here's the baseline. Depending on your budget, if you're like, I have $5,000 to get my EDC, I'm like, all right, go get a Staccato or a Bull Armory. and get a really nice holster, get a tier 1 concealed holster or T-Rex Arms holster, get a nice, like, just go all out. There's no point. Like, this isn't something like, oh, is this hobby for me? Like, this is not a hobby. This is not like, what fishing rod should I get? Oh, well, I may not really stay in the hobby, so whatever sort of thing. This is not a hobby, so I don't think it's a wasted investment to go and buy the best gun possible if you can afford it.
I mean, I will say one thing to that. I just want to add one thing. What you don't know what you don't know, right? So what I like to do at the store is establish a baseline. So I say to someone, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you conceal carrying?" And they go, "Yeah, I absolutely have to conceal carry this gun." Right? So then I get to a Glock 19, but first I go through slimline guns because in all honesty, it's easier to carry a slimline gun. It's not easier necessarily to shoot a slimline gun. And I make that distinction. So I put both guns in their hands, and based on reactions, like I say, okay, like this is my spiel. I'll say like, all right, the Glock 19 is the most ubiquitous pistol on earth. You're going to find the most aftermarket parts for it. The most, our enemies have it. Our friends have it. Everyone's got a Glock 19. And there's a reason for it. However, it's a hammer that hits most nails pretty well, but it doesn't hit any nail like perfectly. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, you may say, oh, well, if I want a very specific concealed carry gun, the Glock 19 might not be right for me because I need to be more discreet. It bothers me to carry something that's that weighty, blah, 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 whatever the reasoning is, right? All day long. So what I try to do is kind of establish a baseline with the customer, the metric. And I say, how does that feel in your hand? Oh, it feels blocky and chunky. All right, let's go to a Walther PDP compact, or let's go to HK VP9. Let's see how that feels in your hand. Are you one of those ergo people? Do you need the ergonomic grip? It's me trying to ascertain, right? And then I take them like on a little journey around the guns that I have in the store, as opposed to just saying, you get yourself a Glock 19 right here. Everybody needs that gun. You don't walk out of the store without it. That's the only one you want. That boom. That's it. Glock. It works in all conditions. You know what I'm saying? No, like I've seen that too much in the New York gun stores, right? We don't do that, man. We tailor the gun to your need, to your mission set, to your mindset, and to your skill level and your feel,
Well, like the James Yeager thing of like all guns are the same, right? It's like, grip, sights, trigger, all that stuff. That is true. But what I always say is if you're not excited about your gun, you are less likely to train with it. You are less likely to carry it. You have to be stoked about your gun. So you know what? If you have the money and a staccato really gets your engine running, you're probably going to take it out and run it and practice with it. Maybe take a class.
More fun to shoot.
It's more fun to shoot. Yeah. But it's like, you know what? If you hold that SIG P320 AXG and you're like, this is the most beautiful gun I've ever held in my life, do your research. And as long as you've done your research and you're still happy with it, as long as you have a will, then I would say absolutely go with it.
As long as you found a transplant donor.
I feel like my boyfriend doesn't like me having it. He's like waiting for that day.
So I am working on some stuff about fixing a 320. I talked about this in my video on SHOT Show, but we'll see if there's some products out there.
I just want to say one more thing about that. My attitude towards the 320 is more neutral now. After talking to some folks, especially people at Brower Solutions over there, those guys were so adamant. And also my I guess not partner, but one of the guys who owns, there's three Good Guys Guns and Ammos guys. So the guy who does New Jersey, he's a Grandmaster competition shooter, or actually just a master. He's almost at Grandmaster, and he shoots 320s. He's like, yeah, I don't recommend them necessarily for daily carry, but not because they'll just go off on you in the holster, but because the trigger is so light and there's no trigger safety or anything like that. So that's not.
Well, I think the issue is the internal inertial safety. If you talk to actual gunsmiths, not gunsmiths, but actual gunsmiths, not Skip Gunworks. That's an inside joke for anyone on the 2011 subreddit. Anyways, you look at I think it's an inertial safety issue. When I've talked to some engineers, I talked to some engineers at SHOT Show. I learned a lot of industry inside stuff, which was cool. And talking to some engineers at SHOT Show that work on guns, from big companies that mod guns and stuff. They're like, yeah, it needs a trigger safety. I don't want to call out any companies or anything or blast anyone and ruin anyone's relationships with other companies. But let's say I talk to a company that does a lot of 320 work and they say, without saying it, then they need a trigger safety.
Bro, just get the agency one for now. But at the same time, SIG.
Well, so the agency has the patent, I guess, on a SIG trigger safety.
Ah, well,
So-
I think Sig can afford it with their big swinging dick that they don't even come to
Their
SHOT
military
Show.
contracts.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't even go there. But
So
you
here,
know.
let's bring another comment here from Corey again. I would like to say I own 3 core EDC belts, and I'm building a
Nice.
core battle belt. Very
Nice,
cool.
nice,
I
nice.
like their executive protection belts, where it looks like a standard gun belt, but it's a Velcro belt. I think that's very cool.
Yep.
Like outside the waistband. I'm trying to set up a cowboy belt, so I might use one of those.
I dig them, man. I really dig their vibe a lot, especially having dealt with them now too as a company. I will say I
I got to
behind
meet these
Core.
dudes. They're very cool.
Yeah, Travis at Core, love you, dude. Like that guy has been so like, oh, you're a new guy in New York. I can't wait to work with you. Here, they have a very low buy-in, all that stuff. They're like
very based guys. Like I wasn't sure because when Core started, it wasn't that much into gun stuff. Like I bought one of their belts like 5-6 years ago, and I still have one of their lever belts, and then I bought one of their new ones lately, and they were like, yeah, they're okay. I don't really know much about them. And now they seem to be very into that gun space. And
they've also made a lot of improvements to their belts over time. So, for example, my first one that I got a while back, the screws can easily have stripped in the buckle when it makes the connection because it's a cut to fit belt, you guys. So if you don't know, so when you cut the length of the belt to the size that you're wearing, you have these 2 screws that sort of bite into the buckle side, and they can strip out pretty easily. So now that won't happen anymore. They've remachined the heads of the screws. They've remachined the and even the paint on the or the whatever coating on the buckles have improved everything. So what is it?
The thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I love it. Yes, it's nice.
I'm not a huge. I will say one of my gripes. I don't like cut to fit belts.
You don't like anything normal, dude. You're
I don't know. I don't like one size fits all. I like size stuff.
Well, the thing is, it is one size fits all. It's just that you cut it down to a general, like, okay, I want to show you my joint.
Really, it's on
now
me.
you're gonna have to see this little needle. So the thing about the core belt here is it has this extra length on it, and it has what's called a keeper back here. Hold on, let me swing and show everyone. There's the keeper. Okay, so what I love about it is I like to rock it here. So I rock my gun appendix. I rock the buckle on the left side here. And when I go to sit down, I can loosen the belt accordingly. And that's what the extra little tail is. And when I stand back up, I click it back into place. So to me, that really, 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 I'm up and down. I'm standing, I'm moving in and out, like standing up, sitting down all day long. And that adjustment, that adjustability, that perfect fit with that click really works for me. Also, when I'm getting in and out of my car, when I'm like not working, like I carry my gun everywhere. So
I mean, I found something of elastic works like this other belt, but we'll see. I still have to do a little more stuff on it. Let's check out another comment here from Benito. Yeah, he agrees. Way too niche, way too specific. A hammer for a specific nail.
Yeah.
One instance, I need to look into somewhere dark from the back. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very specific niche use product. I think it'll probably, to some ninja warrior out there that needs it, to assassinate the president of Kambla, Bangladesh, or whatever. Yeah,
in Minecraft.
Yes, in Minecraft. Then sure, but otherwise, hear this comment, Brianna. I think it's being nice.
She's cute.
Or it could be Brett. I don't know. I've seen some weird comments on this video.
Yeah, people think I'm a little cutie.
Brett.
Yeah, it has to be.
Brett, you're a very handsome gentleman. I met your wife. She's a beautiful woman, and she wouldn't be with you otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there it is. Boom.
But yes, definitely not about me.
Another comment here from Daniel. My current CCWs are a G19, yes, and an FN 509C, both in a Tier 1 Axis Elite. Very, very good holster setup there. We'll CCW, CCP07, and Axis Slim after I put at least 500 rounds through it.
Yeah.
Good to have a hammer fired option.
Yes, I think like I said, if you want a hammer fired gun, I ran it for quite a good amount of time. Took a James Yeager class with it. Fantastic.
I'm getting a staccato when I'm ready for a hammer fired gun. So, I just want a staccato. I'm not sure which one yet, but
Bull Armory, that's the one you want.
What?
You want the Bull Armory? That's the staccato you want.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I like the way the staccato feels. I'm sure I'll like the way the Bull Armory feels.
Yeah, that's the only issue I have with Bull Armory is it's really hard to be like you don't get that in-store experience. But I will say, as someone who has recently purchased a Bull Armory and got to mess around with it and shoot it, I I think you're good to go.
I can honestly say that you can't go wrong. If Bull Armory is in stock, get that. If it is not in stock and you're impatient, go Staccato. They're both awesome. You know,
Or I guess you
What's
can
the
go
19
Stealth Arms
size
and wait.
Staccato? What's
like
the
5 months.
G19? The C?
that would be the C2, but they're phasing that out towards the end of the year. So the new C is going to be kind of the direction they're going. But the grip is really long, especially with the bumper. It's kind of like the X Macro
the
thing.
X Macro syndrome or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
where
like
the
a little
bumper is
macro-y,
huge.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that since they're phasing out the C2, they're going to have a newer, shorter grip option that takes that proprietary
Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
CS magazine.
Yeah. I like the thinner grip, but I also don't like that they're going to an other magazine. So it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
like
That's
now it's not going to
that's
take
the
any of
problem.
the 2011 magazines from Metgar or Checkmate or any of that. You have to go and buy a whole new set. And you can only buy them from Staccato because even Bull Armory, there's other companies that make magazines for them.
Yeah.
So
Brianna's like, I carry a 320.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
actually,
hey, and
'cause
now
I can't.
Magpul makes PMags or AMags for the 320.
Ooh.
And
Right.
they're
Can
Those
only
we,
steel
can
ones.
we
Yeah.
digress for just a second
Yeah,
on
sure.
mags? So I was like, oh, I'm going to get a dry fire mag so that, it'll reset my trigger, right? $300 was what I learned. So they make it's a magazine. So if you're dry firing, it's allegedly, I honestly went very surface level into this, but it's supposed to reset your trigger for you so that you can
Dry
continue
fire
to
mag.
shoot.
They make those
Yeah.
for blocks for like $50.
Dry fire mag. That's what it's called.
Yes. So I looked one up for the SIG 320 because I saw that they had them, and it was $300.
Yeah. Welcome to the gun industry where
Yeah.
things that you don't need cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
And people will go bananas, line up and buy them out the door. Like, like if it's the hot new thing that everybody has to have,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, look, I'm in gun sales, so it's like always cool to be able to put people onto the new cool shit, right? And so like, I'm a gear whore, man. Like, I just bought that Smith & Wesson metal. I fucking love it, man. It is great.
You just need a DPM system for it.
I'll get it. I'll build that up. But now I'm building something off of the Noveske Glock 19 slide for the Gen 3 because I've always wanted a Gen 3 Glock because I hear that they have like really great triggers and this, that, and the third. So I found a freaking frame on Gunbroker, an OD green frame only, like it's complete. It's got the trigger and everything in it, and I'm gonna have that thing like cut up. So with the Noveske slide, it is so dope. Yeah, there it is. Dry fire mag, $89.
Send me the link of that.
Are you looking maybe at this laser one?
Yeah, that's the one.
So the one that comes by the laser, which I guess is like $1 billion.
Whatever.
But you already have the Mantis, right?
Yeah, I did just get that.
Yeah, you just it's just the dry fire mag.
Get the dry fire mag with the Mantis. That's your best option. That way you can reset the trigger and it'll track your follow up.
It's right here. I mean, it's just right here.
And there's a.
You just don't want the laser one. The laser one's a gimmick.
There's a setting for the dry fire mag. That was actually one cool thing it shot.
That was the Mantis,
Blackbeard.
Especially the Blackbeard X,
100%.
where it tracks your transitions. So if you overshoot a target, it tells you like your inefficiencies and transitions.
I think if it gets you excited about dry fire, I'm all for it.
Yep.
Because I know Brianna just picked up a Mantis X for her pistol, and I'm going to pick up a Mantis X because I want to check them out. I've never messed around with them.
I have one. I just haven't broken it open yet. I'm a loser.
Well, I wonder how good it'd be for like measuring recoil to compare guns.
I just want one gun, but then here I am buying. I'm like literally just bought a gun yesterday. It's on for Gunbroker, right? So that pistol, that ODG Glock frame. So I am gonna have a cut. I'm gonna build like a Noveske Gucci Glock. I thought that was so dope, and they have like the illest barrel for it too. Like it's like they said it's lathed over 167 times or something like that, like hand rifled, like super accurate. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. Why not? I love Noveske, so I don't know. I had to have it. Why do I have to do that? Why do I do this?
See, I don't practice or train. I just thrive off of raw natural talent. So I can't really relate. I can't relate to the dry firing stuff. I don't know. I just kind of show up and pull triggers.
That person told you were cute.
Bro.
Yeah.
Here we got some more comments.
Later, skater.
FN 502, FN SRO, Silencer Coast Sparrow. Nice little 22 competitions.
Zombie shoots are fun.
Let's see what else we got. Another one from Benito.
All the women are carrying big guns now. There's one that is pregnant that CC's a Staccato XC.
Nice.
See, that's the thing, is it's always a secret what we're carrying. You'll never know.
You'll never know about their big packages.
You won't know about our big packages. Our
Wow.
only goal is for it to be bigger than yours.
Wow.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
You'll have to fight Brett. Brett conceals a pretty big package.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's like, Brett, you're like a smaller frame guy.
Brett, honestly, Brianna, Brett might be smaller than you.
I'm like 4'1".
He's
very
he's
petite.
actually a hobbit.
He's definitely a power bottom, though. No
Yes.
question. No
We
question.
got another one here from Corey. Just one EDC gun for now. SIG P365XL for Holson 507K. 2 Edwards Tier 1 Aegis Elite, and there's
Nice.
Xiphos Elite. It'll be a Vetter Pro Draw Tier 1 ODB option showing up for Battle Ball. Nice.
See, I would
Um,
say that would be, if I were to replace my current carry gun, that's probably kind of the route that I would go.
Like a larger frame.
My only issue with
Yeah.
the 365s is the bore axis.
Mhm.
Like the grip
Yep.
is like very thick
Yep.
in the rear. The
Yep.
macro, the reason I love the macro, aside
Flat.
from the reasons I didn't like the macro, is it sits very low. But those very cool things at SHOT Show from Radian for the macro.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm very excited to check that out with Radian and the
Yep.
macro.
Yep.
Because it looks like it's gonna be pretty freaking dope.
I have
So
to build
might,
that now.
I might actually have to buy another macro. And
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
I'm
you got a
still
lemon,
building
bro.
one.
I think you got a lemon, bro.
Yeah,
I do.
my
I will
issue
tell
is
you that
not with-
I grease my the macro at my shop every day. I'm like, if I get one, I make sure that I like put a coat of
like
oil
a
on it
little bit of
every day.
rust. Like even like this Glock 19 has like tiny specks of surface rust at this
I've
point.
never had.
what generation is that?
Gen 3. This
Oh,
thing's
that's-
like
yeah.
this thing's really old,
Okay.
and it's been shot a lot and carried. This thing's probably like 8 years old, I think, because I got it. I
To
got
be
it used
fair,
from a
you're
friend.
Greek. You sweat olive oil, so
This is true. No, but and it's just specs, and normally I can clean it off. It's like
Well,
just
okay.
surface rust.
In his defense about the X macro, one, I verified that finish because he sent it to me. That finish was trash. Either that or they have a trash finish and it was poorly sourced steel.
Mm.
But I just want to say that probably 5 out of every 10 P365s that I see in a gun store, the trigger shoe is like marooning.
yes,
from- That's what I'm saying.
yes.
It is legitimately a problem, but it's not all of them. It's just some of them.
I don't know. I don't
A lot.
know. I
They're
don't know
built
what
in.
it
This
is.
this right here, I have noticed that like on all my T-Rex and Tier 1 holsters, I had rusty hardware.
Yeah.
This is Daniel Platt, if you're listening, talking about how he has harder rust and all his Tier 1 holsters, so he switched everything out to stainless. The only company I've had a holster from, and I've had my Tenacores now for a while, I've
They're
had no
the
rust
shit.
on the
Tenacor
Tenacores.
is so
Whatever
good.
coating they have on their screws, no rust.
I will say I think Tier 1 Concealed recently switched out their hardware like last few months because my last couple of Tier 1 holsters have not been rusting on the
Yeah, so
hardware.
the-
Cool.
Tenacore, I guess Tier 1.
Tenacore's good, yeah.
I haven't had
I
a T-Rex
love that,
holster in a
man.
while, so I don't know if they have improved.
I'll
Um,
say this about Tenacor, man. Like, the only complaint I have is that I wish that they had the vertical adjustability of the Tier 1
I
holsters.
mean,
Other than
this
that,
has a pretty good vertical adjustability. I mean,
it's good.
It has
It's
all
not,
of this,
I
and it
like-
has a second set of holes.
I like a little bit more. And like on the claw, you know how like
the
on-
claw is
on-
not adjustable height.
No. not
Um,
vertically.
So
you know.
that is the one thing Tier 1 has. But in reality, this has about the same because it has multiple sets of holes.
Yeah,
And it
okay.
has up and down. They're just side to side.
I will tell you this though, the Xiphos from what I've been doing lately, I've been experimenting with the Xiphos holster from Tier 1, and that paired with a separate mag carrier. I've been doing the MSW one that like cants like this, so you can like have a more natural draw.
Yeah, like I remember my carriers. Like
Yeah, for sure. So I will tell you 100% the Xiphos is kind of like a Tenacore without a wedge, which I really love. And also you can add wedge packs to all those Tier 1s. So Xiphos, very, very, very nice holster. Highly recommend from if you don't want to have like a full
Xiphos
sidecar.
Elite.
Yep, it's sick. I love that fucking holster, man. I'm gonna actually run the new Glock. Yeah, there it is. And then so if you want to also look at the MS, what's that? The Modern
MSP.
War, MSP, the MSP, not holster, but the
Mag carrier.
the mag carrier. That one. So check that. No, the black one. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So check it out. Like, I don't know if you can zoom in on that at all. Like, yeah. Let's see. I don't want free shipping. I want to pay more.
Yeah, you see, this one just it prints like crazy on me.
This one,
the mag carrier, or even
the mag carrier. Let me just tell you this: like where you're seeing like the angle, there's these 3 little like nubs that you can actually adjust the the angle on. I don't know. For me, that shit's dope. I don't know.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, I mean, when it comes to holster stuff, it's like trying to help someone pick out a pair of shoes. You know, it's like,
oh yeah,
it really is. Honestly, even for a carry gun, and I've had that conversation with so many people because they'll come and ask for advice, and it's like, you have to try it on. Like, you need to go somewhere where you can rent one, or borrow someone who has one and go try it out, take it for a test drive, because without it, or even I actually she was a very sweet girl. I was at one of the events at the range back where I moved from, and she came up to me, and she had a really traumatic experience at the female gun store that was local to that area, where they basically crapped all over her boyfriend and she didn't really like it, basically saying, well, who cares what he thinks about your gun? I had to be like, I mean, I get your point where you don't want to exclude your boyfriend from this. This is something you're doing together, but also like, you have to like it, not him. Like, if it's for you, then he doesn't have to like it. My boyfriend absolutely hates shooting my carry gun. It's not my favorite to shoot, but he doesn't have to.
Neither is my G43. I don't love shooting my G43, and it's my favorite gun to carry because it feels like it disappears on my body, right?
Exactly.
But it's not a fun gun to shoot. And I tell all my customers, like, the lighter and slimmer you go, the snappier the gun's going to be, the less fun it will be at the range. If you really need a really fun range gun, the carry gun, you're making compromises so that it's easier, quote unquote, to carry, which we all know is bullshit too. You can carry as big a fucking gun as you want. Look at Brett; he carries a freaking, what's that monster gun that you carry? The Beretta.
Oh yeah, that Beretta 92G Elite with that massive dual port compensator, Surefire X300.
Shit.
Yeah, that thing's
You're
insane.
a fucking boss.
This is a cop out, because I will say for myself, like, I'm not always wearing like super baggy clothes, but dudes in general, like, you get away with your clothes not being as form-fitting per se, which does make that a little bit easier. Whereas like me on any given day, like, I'm wearing a t-shirt and it's not necessarily loose and it's a thinner material. Like, I mean, I live with my boyfriend, so I can tell the difference between our clothes. His clothes are way easier to conceal something. And then like this shirt is super, like, that stretchy, soft, thin cotton material does not do well for hiding anything.
This becomes the easiest thing in the world. If I have any doubts, I just button like 1 or 2 buttons and pull my t-shirt over my carry piece for sure. Yeah.
Layers, sweaters.
I mean, like, as far as, I will say this too, like, we've been talking about the operator stuff, right? And the market gearing more towards us now, the civilian space. I will say that a lot of these operators created the concealed carry stuff that we are all dealing with today, except the sidecar. They didn't do that. I mean, good old Lucas did that. But the really deep carry, like concealed carry stuff that a lot of these guys were carrying away, and cops, of course, in history way before us. So they had the leg up on us for many, many years. You have to give credit where credit is due. And those dudes, they're doing it for work all day long. So yeah,
but were they the holster makers, or did they come to holster makers with demands? You know what I mean? Because it
was
was not
special units did.
Yeah, because it was not normalized for civilians to concealed carry up until somewhat recently, last couple of decades. Because it's like because it was kind of a weird thing to do. It's like, what are you, paranoid? That kind of thing. And now it's become a very normalized thing where now, younger people are carrying, which is weird. Normally it was only the crotchety old guy who carried his 1911. Now,
so true.
All the cool kids, they're packing heat.
Yep. And I'm getting those customers now too. A very young crowd comes to my store. So.
I love to do other stuff with carry, like the fanny pack thing that's come in.
Yeah. Off body is cool. Our boy from Tight Shoots, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we ran into Bob at the show, and Tight Shoots is the shit.
The
Shout
Tight
out to
Shoots
Bob.
Voyager.
Shout out to Tight Shoots, the Mars
Low Pro.
Low Pro. Yeah, listen, everyone,
yeah.
go get it.
The ads, by the way,
Look, it's
Tight Shoots
my
lately, if
go-to.
you guys want something that looks, let's just watch an awesome ad for. Just look up the Tight Shoots
He's the
Mars
best.
ads.
He's the best.
But no,
I love the stuff you've shown.
I've been running this for a while now. This thing is fantastic. I'm super excited for some new stuff they're dropping. They did just drop the rigs and the strap. If you guys want to check those out, fantastic. I don't get any money, no sponsorship by Tight Shoots. They just make great shit.
Yep.
And this thing I've had. This is one of their first packs they made. Actually, I was one of their very early adopters, and this thing's been fantastic.
Yep. I rock mine at church once in a while because it's just a pain.
I mean, I'll rock this like working out, just going out. If I'm just going to the grocery store and I don't have to, do the whole belt and all this. This just takes 2 seconds. We got some more comments here from Corey again. I wear the Zyphos Elite more than my Aegis Elite, just more comfortable with the sidecar. I carry the HI pistol tacos on the side of my belt. Love those tacos on the battle belt too. I love tacos for rifle mags. I run like Kydex competition mags for
pistol.
Yeah, so like for like got a taco right here, but here I run just competition style. I think these are from T-Rex. They're Mars carriers. Yeah. And then for that, I totally get what you're saying, Corey, because I'll run a separate gun and this. Like I used to be a big sidecar guy. T-Rex arms, the tier 1 was what I ran most recently, and I've held multiple tier 1 and T-Rex arms. But I found if I just run this, it's so much more comfortable because these can move independently of each other. And if I want, I can take this off and I just have the gun. So teach their own, obviously. But I'm a Tenacor sellout chill now.
They're probably one of the all-time greatest for sure. Tenacor.
The big thing is there's like no lead time. The holster shows up.
Yep.
But
they could be out of stock though.
Could be out of stock. T-Rex arms is pretty damn good too. But I'm really loving Tenacor lately. Love T-Rex, but Tenacor is just it's so form fitting, and tier 1 as well. If
it's so comfortable, why aren't you wearing it right now?
Yeah, pussy.
I took my belt off to show you guys.
Likely story.
So, plus, it's easier to access when just
raise your hand if you're carrying appendix right now while sitting down in this chair and have been for an hour and 20 minutes.
Now I am.
If I
didn't have to take off all my clothes earlier to show you guys my belt. But no, I'm in love with these. They're just super slim. Like I just like how slim it is. Like it's as slim as like an OWB holster instead of like a lot of these that have like all this. Anyways, I don't need to make a Tenacor ad here, but yeah, I totally get what you're saying, Corey. I've gone to this, and I'm actually gonna make a video on this versus sidecar holsters in a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, one of the cool things that I ordered from Brower Solutions or whatever they're called, they have the
little angled mag carriers.
So they have like it goes in the molly on your belt, and it just like makes it go like that, like just like your Mars carrier there. But you could put any
so
like an
I am
something on there.
The Blade Tech tech mount where it has a disc
right
teeth, and you can go in at literally any angle. You want like a weird angle for your mag, and you just press this little tab and you can angle it however you want. These have been possible. Like I used to run the Safariland ELS forks. This is the best thing. And then for my pistols,
how good are those though in a tactical situation? Let's say you get in a tussle or you like run into a wall or
I see no issues. Like they're locked in.
Yeah. All right.
Someone could come up and press the button and steal it maybe, but it's the same with the other quick disconnects. And then for pistol holsters, the Blade Tech, the Tech Mount, the large one, and then this one actually has a physical lock. So you engage the lock and this tab doesn't work.
Okay.
And you just take your holster. It's like let me finish my obligatory ad. You take your holster.
Is this your comp rig?
This is my range rig.
Right.
I mean comp too. If I shoot comp, I normally use this.
Right.
So, but I mean, you can literally rotate your pistol however you want. So, I think these are the best. I've been running them for about a year now. Fantastic. And Blade Tech didn't send me anything. Guardian Warrior Solutions did send me stuff, so I will say that. But Blade Tech I have no relationship with. I just like their stuff.
Nice.
Let's check what we got. I honestly don't have any pistols that are smaller than G19. I just don't see the point. 5.11 and 160. If I can steal that shit, anyone can. I agree. I don't. I have a Glock 26, and that is more for really specific things like ankle carry. Like something I don't like to be in situations like sometimes at the range, I will actually ankle carry. So I have a fully loaded gun on me at all times. Because you
In
know you can
case
shoot.
it gets weird.
Just depending on what range I'm going to, or even like
Weird ranges, man.
just depending where I'm going, I might ankle carry. It's really situational. But yeah, I'm Glock 19 or larger.
I'm kind of decided that more or less, like even though like the 43X really fits me well. I can shoot the shit out of that gun, but like I said, it's not great with like follow up shots and
Absolutely.
recoil mitigation. It's not fun.
I hate shooting anything that's small. The 26 I'll shoot because it still has I can do the for lack of a better term, the same reach around that I can with a Glock 19. It's the same width of the grip. My big issue with slimline pistols is not this way. Like losing my pinky is not the end of the world. It's this way. Like they're too thin. Like my issue with the macro, and I didn't even realize that I had this issue, but when I felt it at SHOT Show again, I realized the macro is so thin. Like I like having the thickness in my hands.
Oh, do you?
So, you know, let's see what else we got here. From Daniel, I'm 35 and I've had my concealed carry since I turned 21. And then even then I carried a Glock Gen 3 and we didn't have all these small pistol options. Exactly. The small pistol options back in the day were the Glock 26, the Glock 43. My recent video, the Hawker Street 43.
Nah, even before the 43, it was really the 26, bro.
Yeah, the 26 was the
and the Ruger LCP,
Ruger LCP,
or whatever the
G
fuck.
frames, like those sorts of little guns that just they suck to shoot. The 26 is okay to shoot; it's not terrible.
26 is okay. Yep.
But still, they're not fun to shoot. I want a carry gun. In reality, if I shoot a 17 and I shoot a 19, I don't notice a huge difference, and that's what I want.
Yep.
I can train with fuller size guns or train with or 19s even, because this is like the smallest I'll go in terms of like what I like. So I just like fuller size guns, and now the holster and belt technology is there to where there's no reason you can't, like, especially appendix conceal a bigger gun.
And the only thing I noticed with a what do you call it, a 17 and a 19, the difference, right, is I could actually feel the slide moving slower.
Yes, the slide's a little bit different
on the 17,
but recoil control is the same, and it's not,
pretty much.
So
I'm just very curious to shoot a single spring Glock for the first time when I get my Gen 3 up and running soon.
So I mean, I have a DPM Systems spring in here.
Okay.
Shout out to DPM, which really helps with this VP Armory compensator. Shout out to VP Armory.
So is that in the Gen 3 right there?
Yeah. So
okay, yo, can you send me the link for that shit? Because I'm gonna put it in the Gucci Novatsky.
So this is the wait.
Oh god, I need to shut this off now.
Remember YouTube's rules here. So
hello.
This is the VP Armory spring, not VP Armory. This is the DPM spring. But I've probably shot at least 20,000 rounds to this Glock with just a standard Gen 3 single spring.
Right.
No issues. So you can run whatever you want.
How does it change the recoil impulse on the 19?
So what DPM springs do, the way I explain it to everyone, I was sent springs by DPM Systems, to be fair. They just sent them to me, no money, nothing like that. Is it reduces, so a compensator will reduce the explosion, right? The violence of the explosion, redirect the gases. The DPM reduces the violence of the slide. So like when I close this slide, it's pretty damn smooth. It's not like here in the 34, you can see it in the desk. Like anyone who knows the Glock 34, normally when you drop this slide, it fucking like sends your hand forward. Super smooth closing of the slide. That's what the DPM does, is it makes this slide violence reduced. So when combined with a compensator, it is the flattest shooting you can get a pistol.
Send me the link. I must have it now.
So the way it works is it's a progressive spring system. So when you fire the gun and the slide goes back, it cushions the slide hitting the back, right? So it's a cushion, spring cushions. And then as it goes forward, the springs uncompress, and ease it forward. So it's cushion and ease.
Right.
And that's how it works.
The real DPM shill can explain it.
Yeah. Yes, that they sponsor my channel. So official sponsor of Nightwood Guns.
Well, listen, I bought that for my Gen 5 19. I just haven't used it yet because I've been just carrying it. I've been too busy to go to the range with the thing. I've been like, I have to actually get back to the range with the Smith a little bit more because I want to get better on that gun. But I will say, I don't know. This is a conversation that me and Pav had like a million times, and it's like Glock 19. They just keep coming right back,
Absolutely.
keep coming back.
Yeah.
No matter what I do,
Absolutely.
I can't get away from this
Um,
fucking gun. I don't know, man.
I mean, how many
Yeah.
thumbnails have you seen where it's like I said bye to the P365 and I'm back to G19? Like I see those thumbnails on YouTube all the time.
So many, because it's a solid gun. From Mr. Platt again. My first pistol was a Springfield XD S3.3. Didn't last long. Traded for Gen 319.
Yeah, well, it's like
literally what Brett just said.
Yeah, so you said you were 35, so that would have put like that was one of those first like micro single stack guns out there because it was like Keltec had one, Carr was putting them out, but both of those guns were unreliable. My light just died.
Stuck to shoot.
Yep, they suck to shoot. They were unreliable. Then Walther came out with the PPS M1, and that gun shoots itself to death. If you put thousands of rounds through it, it will die. But it was a great little gun. But that XDS was one of the first that came out. Granted, the first run had light primer strikes, but that was one of the first smaller micro guns to come out that was actually reliable after they sorted out the issues. Around the same time, the SIG P938 came out, and then
they're little like micro
right,
fired.
yeah, because they had the 381.
That
Yeah,
one's snappy.
yeah, that's snappy.
really
There's no
snappy.
small gun I've ever shot that hasn't sucked to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And then-
P365,
the best, honestly, to me, the best small gun that I've shot is that 43X MOS. Honestly,
well, but that
it
is a bigger
sucks.
grip.
It
Yeah.
sucks, but the grip really
I
helps
can
to
shoot. I can
mitigate
shoot
a lot of that.
43X MOS, a 43X or a 48. I used to carry a 48.
Yeah,
But
48 's
it's
pretty sweet.
It's when you have the short grip, lighter gun. It's just a whole thing of factors. Right here, Bandito, he carries a 26. You also have red anodized parts, 30 round mag, and a SoundCloud link. I also have that switch. No, like I said, the 26. I only carry the 26 for very specific situations when I need a backup gun, and I already have a gun either in an outside the waistband or inside
Like a
the waistband
19
holster.
or something. Yeah.
So it's a very specific thing. I don't recommend the 26 mainly as a carry gun, unless I'm actually working on a video on the 26 as well and talking about its relevance nowadays. But the 26 is not something I readily recommend people. I just think if you want an ankle gun, it's not bad. It's kind of heavy, but I like the fact that it takes all my other magazines. So I have a 26.
Hey,
but
Brett,
it's very limited use for me.
I have a question for the shilliest of all shills. DPM MRS for Glock 19 Gen 1 to 3 soft version. Is that what we're looking for?
The soft version, if you're running a particularly efficient compensator or
So like if you run the Ramjet, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If not, if it's uncomped,
Now, if you get the Gen 3, if you get the DPM, it should just come with both springs. If you get the Gen 3, you just get the uncaptured. And
Yeah,
you'll
get
You'll
uncaptured.
get a smaller and a bigger spring. The bigger
Yeah, it looks
spring
like
is
it has
better with
like
no comp, and the smaller
4
spring.
springs or 5.
Although honestly, I've noticed I've taken guns and just shot with the DPM soft spring in general, and I just think it shoots better.
Okay, I was gonna say because
So-
I plan on running this new Noveski gun uncomped. At first I thought I was gonna comp it, and I was like, you know what, this has to conceal.
Just
and
get this guy right here.
we went to the
So-
booth. I saw it. It was cool.
VPR, I like it, and I'll be doing a full review on that as well.
I can't get over the looks, bro.
I feel
See,
like-
that's the thing is I think ultimately, and obviously you have some more life experience than me, but I've probably been in the shooting world a little more seriously longer than you,
Probably.
and I used to care more about that, and I just don't care anymore. That's why I run holsters that only come in black, and I run basic bitch Glocks, right, with weird little comp things, because I don't care what my gun looks like. I really, as long as when I fucking pull it out, it goes bang, and it goes bang really good. That's all I care about.
I don't know. I have that shit's got to bang for me, bro. It's got to be hot heat when you pull it out. It's like
We got another thing, Mr. Platt. If you use an SLR plus base plate on the 26, it holds 15 rounds and actually smaller. Yes, I know some base pads. The reason I would not run a 26 as a main carry gun is one, and this is in my Hellcat review, I don't like guns where I have to remove my pinkies for reloads. So the 26, very small, limited use case for me, but I don't like this. And also because you end up retaining the magazine. Like when I shoot a 26, my pinky goes underneath it, or you end up pinching your hands trying to reach, put a new mag
it
in.
happened to me.
I
That's why I got
also
rid of my 30 SF.
I also do not like the fact you can't really run a light on that thing. So it'd be nice if they made like a light rail that could take like the TLR7 sub on the new 26. I don't know why they don't do that. But
with the G26, you can carry that 33 on backup. 33 round mag.
nah, I get the 50 round drum with that switch.
No, Beta C. Come on. 100 round Beta C.
So we're going to go for about 10 more minutes, guys. So if there's any questions, any burning desires that you want fulfilled by one of us four.
It says, oh, of course he has a Hellcat. Can't think of any other car.
I do not own a Dodge. How
First
dare
he
you.
has the Glock with the switch and a Hellcat.
Um,
Be careful before you come for the Mopar gang, because I joined it and I'm a diehard now.
Oh
no.
my God.
Yoda for life.
That shit's getting stolen tonight, probably.
Yoda for life. Anyways,
Yoda.
But this is definitely not a car podcast. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to know, we will. And also, did you guys like a live podcast? Did this? I mean, for us, it doesn't really make a huge difference. It's just scheduling thing. Sometimes we record this at odd hours, so we wanted to obviously make it live at a time where people could actually come watch it. So did you guys like that? Do you want more live stuff? Do you want something live beyond a podcast? Or are you fine with just watching it later, putting things in the comments, and we address it in the next podcast?
And also, who would you vote off the island? No, you got the only compliment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
You're safe.
So you have woman privilege, so
Ooh. Okay.
or whatever you identify as. It's 2024.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Fucking
I
misogyny.
mean, did you just assume my gender?
Yeah.
Oh, she got you.
Sorry, I forgot.
She got you, boy. Great background noises, but good info. My goodness.
Thank you, Bendito.
Oh,
No,
what did
I
do?
it was awesome. Guys, we like to end obviously all our shows and podcasts with one last thing. What do you think is where society views civilians, and where do you think it's gonna be in like 5 years? Brett.
What do I? Where do I think society views
So how does
civilians?
this currently?
and
What
Civilians
is
in
the
the gun
gun
space.
culture of a
Okay.
citizen, of an armed citizen, and what do you think will look like in 5 years?
What do I think that gun culture like thinks of a civilian right now, and then what do I think it will look like in like 100 years? I think that right now people be packing heat, and in 100 years we're all going to be nuclear toast.
So I
Wow.
said 5 years, but hey, it's an answer to the question.
Oh, like, same answer.
Probably like 2 months. All right, thank you, Benedetto. I agree. Civilians are very gay. No. I like to. I use the word civilian. I think it's so ingrained into us. I try and use the word citizen.
Minuteman.
Minuteman, but I like the word citizen.
Or minute woman, or minute they,
Minute
Yeah.
G.
Who, when?
minute zim,
Now. Zim. Zer.
minute
but
fay.
Pete, what is your take? Right, what do you see it now, and where do you think it'll be in 5 years?
You remember the scene in The Patriot where he's shooting down the entire the guys who kidnapped his son or whatever? That's where we'll be in 5 years. But that I digress. I think I think that we're gonna have
No, this
such a
is-
confluence. I think. Okay, do you want my answer? Or do you want to run this shit? Thank you. That's where we'll be in 5 years. There you go. All right.
There you go.
All right.
I had to show it.
Okay, but I'm only half joking when I say that. I think that you're going to see such a great confluence of both the modern day Minuteman, the citizen, and people who are current or former military working together in some capacity in the next 5 years. And I believe that is going to be coming from external threats and internal threats both. So I know that's very grim outlook, but I think that's why the gun industry smells it. It knows its market. We were talking about SIG prior. I think that everyone is preparing for some kind of event in this country right now. If you're smart, if you are a dumb shitlib that lives in Manhattan, you are buying your $8 coffee in the morning or $10 coffee and oblivious to the entire world until the world comes down on your head. Too bad for you. But for the rest of us, I do believe that the citizen will have a really important slot in society again, the prepared citizen, because people will look to people like us to be leaders in the coming times. He was waiting for that whole fucking time. Tell me I'm wrong though.
Really quick, I just want to, because this, we got some comments. We'll hit those, and then we'll go to Brianna. From Corey, I'll definitely be watching you all again. I catch all of Brett's vids. I've been watching Donkey for months now. Love you guys. Love the Shock Show coverage, and live format is good. Good to hear that.
Appreciate you, Corey. You're awesome.
Yeah, Corey.
And then Daniel Platt. Hell yeah, I've been cleaning some firearms listening. I'm with Brett on that one.
Yeah, right on, Daniel. Love you, man.
And then
same comment twice.
Oh yeah. Well, he kind of changed this one dude to 100 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Nuclear
toast. And so, Brianna, what is your take? Where do you see, especially as a woman, right? Where do you see, or whatever you identify as, where do you see the idea of the armed citizen, or especially the armed female citizen, and where do you see it in like the next 5 years?
So right now, I see it. I think it's becoming more normalized, especially on the women front of things. I think right now it's more towards self-defense. I think ask me again in January next year of what the next 5 years will look like. But I'd probably say I side with the rest of the guys. It's like, the prepared citizen are going to be the last line of defense before we are nuked in 100 years. But yeah, no, I think it's becoming more normalized. It's more popular. People are really stressing the importance of education now, which I think is going to be good depending on how bad it gets.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I guess I should answer my own question. I think where we're at now is we're more accepted than ever. Mm-hmm. I think people don't get there's obviously people afraid of guns, but I think there's this idea to kind of, steal from Mossad Ayub, the licensed carrier, right? When you say that to a jury, they love it, right? And there's a reason. And I think now people, the armed, the trained shooter, there's all sorts of terminologies and ways to articulate it you can, but I think people are getting more and more comfortable with the idea that people good guys are carrying guns. I think a lot of people got strapped up in 2020, 2021, and now the idea of, hey, there's a good guy with a gun doesn't sound so scary, because there's there can be a good guy with a gun. I think you go back 5-10 years and anyone with a gun could be potentially the next mass shooter, but now it's like, oh, I actually like the idea of someone be carrying guns and stuff.
Yeah, man. And I like how out in the open people are about it. Yeah, you're concealed carrying, but people talk about it like we do. And we're normalizing the culture because it is a gun culture. And yeah.
I remember growing up, my dad, carried everywhere all the time, no matter what. And he would always tell me as a child, we don't talk about this. Right. Don't tell anybody. And it's I think that's smart to tell a child, right? But that was also, that was his philosophy for himself as well, as he never told a soul. And that's shifting now, where we're normalizing it and we're recommending concealed carry to people, and we're welcoming people into the community. And I think that's the future of the community.
I still don't advertise it. I do. But and I won't bring it up. A lot of times, let's say I'm out to dinner somewhere, right? And it's friends or family, so I don't really care. It's not like I'm worried they're going to call the cops on me or some shit. But I'm talking with them, and they say something about, what if someone had a gun right now? It's like that meme, with Indiana Jones. If you guys have seen that, I think it's on my Instagram somewhere. And it's like, oh, it would be crazy if someone was carrying a gun right now, and you're like. I mean, and I won't say anything, but I'll kind of go.
Of course, I know him. He's me.
Yes,
Obi-Wan. Well, of course I know him.
But no, it is that. It's like that.
Normalized. Yeah, I mean, listen, you're not advertising, but the whole point of it is that our founding fathers never imagined a country without people carrying or having some sort of weapon on them or something like that. They imagined that you had the right to do so, and if you felt like you needed to, you would.
Or cannon.
Right, or Gatling gun, as a matter of fact. So here we are, whatever, couple hundred years later, and now I think the former culture of the country before the last 5 years was, they come after us, they say bad words about us, and then we go, oh, you're right. Oh, no, I didn't want to offend anyone. And now it's like, no, you're wrong. Fuck you. I'll do what I want to fucking do because it's my fucking right to. And if you try to take it away, we'll fight you to fucking death in court. How about that?
Yeah. Well,
Which is
and
we're
also,
putting up wins in New York, guys. A
we
lot
need to
of
stop
wins.
worrying about what the people who hate us think. Ultimately,
Right.
Let me read this one comment, then we're gonna close it out. Benito, not to be a brand snob, but it's cool to see more informed women with notably better firearms and purpose-built setups than before in building skill sets outside of shooting. I'm not sure what he means by a brand snob, unless he means SIG.
Well, just that they're carrying nicer stuff.
Right,
Oh,
right,
okay.
right.
I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think it's snobby. I think it's more like let's filter out the garbage.
Yeah.
There's a difference in being a snob. Being like, oh, you don't carry a 2011 hand fitted by the
Nighthawk.
by Nighthawk.
Right.
Like, that's snobby. But if it's like you carry a fucking car, you disgusting, right? I don't think that's being snobby. I think that's telling someone what's up. All right, Brett, where can people find you, subscribe to you, support you, all that good stuff?
Nightwood Guns on YouTube. Come say hi.
Pete, where can people find you, subscribe to you, support you, all that good stuff?
Good Guys, Guns and Ammo LI for Long Island on Instagram. And also, guys, just stay tuned. I will be announcing the next time I'm on this show, our podcast, the Good Guys, Guns and Ammo podcast. Boom.
All right, and Brianna, where can people find you, subscribe to you, support you, all that good stuff?
Up in Arms Accessories on Instagram, underscores between each of the words.
And your business?
Upinarmsaccessories.com.
So yeah, if you guys don't know, it's kind of the name. She makes arms accessories.
So,
like that
example.
very cool coaster right there. I'm very excited to get those in hand. And
here's another example of another coaster. This one has to ship out to a customer who purchased off of Twitter, which if you're on Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, UIA underscore Up in Arms on X.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, stay tuned. We will be doing more of these live podcasts, probably intermittently among pre-recorded ones, but we definitely will. So subscribe and stay tuned.